Hi everybody, my name is Heidi Mancini. I'm an integrative health and wellness partner. I'm also a certified personal trainer and a graduate of IIN Institute of Integrative Health, which means it's holistic, which it's prevention of illness before we get sick. So before I say anything else, we need our medical doctors to treat us when we get sick, but the whole idea is to share information regarding health and wellness to help people live better lives, healthier lives while they're living before they get sick and they need to be treated for illnesses. This is my friend Diana Dennis, and there's a lot of things to say about her. So first off, I'm going to say she's my friend before anything else. She's a top 3 Olympia level competitor, a personal trainer, a nutritionalist, performance artist, photographer, a mom. We have to make sure we say that.
Yeah,
you're a mom too.
I'm a mom.
And she's my best
And a grandmother.
friend. And a grandmother. What else? What else can you say that I forgot?
I think you said it all.
We said it all. And Diana's here with me today because we're going to have a conversation about health and wellness. I'm kind of new to this in the sense that I started working out and living a better life at the age of 40. Up until that point, I was raising my daughter. I smoked cigarettes. I was overweight by about 45 to 50 pounds. And at that time, I decided that I wanted to change my life. So I took some positive roles and I hired a personal trainer, Joe Peroni. I have to say that because he was my first trainer. And from there, I had people in my life, including Diana Dennis, help me with my goals. And I think the best thing that we can do when we're trying to change our lives or make some changes is to have a set plan and reach out to the people that know those type of areas of nutrition, personal training, whatever it is that you want to succeed. Hire somebody that lives it, knows it, so that they can help guide you, into what you're supposed to be doing right. Because when I first started eating, I didn't even know how to eat. And what's amazing to me is when I talk to people throughout the day, they don't know how to eat either. And what I've learned in my schooling, and I'm here because I want to share this information because I didn't realize how important eating healthy and how the longevity of our lives and how we can train up until the age of whatever age that might be, and as long as we're eating and we're conscious of all the aspects of life. And one of the one thing that I learned in school that was really important to me was a circle of life. And I always thought about that, that the Lion King, the circle of life, and I thought, it means a lot. But at the time I heard it, I was like, okay, the circle of life, that's nice. But now when I heard it, when it says it's about joy, spirituality, creativity, finances, your social life, your career, relationship, home environment, home cooking, physical activities, health and education. Most times, including myself, I would focus on one part of my life and then wonder why in my perception, I'm failing in other parts of my life. So the idea is to try to live a balance in our lives. So I'm going to ask you.
Because if something isn't going right, whether it's maybe your relationship or your nutritional program, or you're not getting enough exercise for some reason, or you're not feeling successful in school, whatever that may be, it's causing stress in your life. So it all.
And it does. It's
all inclusive.
Health is bio-individual, so I want to make sure that we specify that on this show, that no one size fits all for everybody, because everybody's lifestyle is different, our genetics are different, the way that we handle stress is different. So when it comes to there's been I think at least 100 diets out there that I saw written, and every single diet has changed either the timing of how you eat your food, if you're eating high carbs, low carbs, high fats, no fats. Fasting is a big thing right now that we're hearing a lot about. They're pushing the fasting thing for menopausal women to say that helps burn body fat. But the one thing you have to make sure we say with that is how you're breaking your fast and the type of foods that you're eating in that 8-hour period, because it still doesn't give people a free pass to go, okay, I can eat for 8 hours because I just fasted for 16, so now I can eat whatever I want in 8 hours. It's still about nutrient dense, antioxidant, feeding foods for our bodies.
And how do you know, though? Because there are so many diets. How does a person know which diet to use? Like some people are truly either allergic to carbs, or some carbs, or all carbs, or what. How do you know?
Well, the thing of it is you don't know. The client knows, though, or the person you're working with knows, because as we investigate and we talk and we interview, you find out that somebody will say, oh, if I eat this, it really bothers my stomach. If I do this, I get nauseated. So one of the key things to that is pay attention to your own bodies. It's not so much the same thing when things are successful. When somebody does really good with the diets, or they always say, oh, the diet, it's the diet that I did. No, it's you. You're the one that has the power, not the diet. We're the ones that make the choice of what we're going to eat, how often we're going to eat, and those type of things. So listening to your body is really intuition. We talk about intuition all the time. I have a gut feeling. The gut feeling is not just, oh my God, you're creepy and I don't want to be around you, or oh my God, I love your energy. It's our guts actually do talk to us with gas, bloating, nausea, whatever that might be. And a lot of times people don't listen. They continue to eat the same type of foods. They continue to put the weight on, and then they're unhappy.
And that's when they feel unsuccessful. They feel like, oh no, I failed this. I'm not losing weight. Why am I not losing weight?
You've been in this longer than I have. So the difference what is the differences that you see from back, I don't know, like what I remember people being a lot leaner, a lot healthier back, I'll say the 80s. Okay, that's my generation. And you never really saw that many people that were out of shape, that were overweight. 76% of our country right now. I have these numbers.
76%.
Let me read this.
Our country was known as the healthiest country.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Well, since they were introduced in 1994, so you were close before when you said 2000 is when everything went to shit. Everybody started gaining weight.
COVID had got much, much worse.
So back in 1994, it's roughly right now 2 out of 3 adults. 1994, GMOs were introduced. I'm going to read off of my paper, people, because I'm afraid I'm going to forget something. So I want to make sure that what I'm saying too is correct. But 26 countries have banned GMOs. Just so you know, the United States is one of them that did not. They said, we don't care, we want to mass produce our foods, and this is what we're going to do. So we're out of 26 countries, we're one of them that said, we don't care, we're going to put the GMOs in our food. And they were introduced in 1994, so you were right before, Diana, when you said the year 2000 was when people started to get unhealthy. And roughly 2 out of 3 adults are overweight or obese. 69%, 1 out of 3 are obese, which is 36% out of that number. 69%, 36 are obese in our country.
But at least before that, people were trying, I think, paying attention to, the women that are, and men that are examples, which are people that are on TV, people that, are models. And it wasn't common for there to be overweight people showing their bodies.
Well, I was going to say the entertainment business, there's so much to talk about it that I just don't want to go in a tangent because my mind is, I'm like all over right now.
Right.
But in the entertainment industry and certain industries that go on TV that do their advertisements, they perpetuate this behavior because they glamorize crappy food. Instead of them showing a commercial, how many movies do you watch where they're sitting down, they're having dinner, and instead of them showing a nice chef salad with chicken or steak or fish, whatever it is, they're sitting there eating a big plate of pasta and a big glass of wine. Now, I personally would prefer the big plate of pasta and the glass of wine sometimes over the salad. The McDonald's advertisements that we see, go to McDonald's with your family, have fun on the slide. They perpetuate that as it's a family thing, have fun at McDonald's. they romanticize it to make it seem like
Right.
this is what you do with your family. This is what we do in America. We take our families to McDonald's and we have a nice Happy Meal and a hamburger together.
We're not talking just about putting on weight because of this. We're talking about health. We're talking about people aren't as healthy anymore. You know, when I was growing up, everybody paid attention to their health. Everybody paid attention to if they were getting too heavy or not. You know, when I was going to school, we ate
Well,
right.
when I was in school, I remember back in high school, I used to get made fun of because I've always had a big butt, even in school when I was younger. And it would drive me crazy because they would call me Bunsini, they would call me Jello Buns, you know, whatever. And as a kid, I hated it. So I grew up hating my body. And so now,
No.
I don't want to, and I want everybody to know I'm not fat shaming. This show is not about fat shaming, making fun of anybody that's overweight. I've had, my entire life, I've had to watch what I put in my body. So I understand what it's like to struggle with that. But
We're talking about health.
we're talking about health here. So when you get a 20-year-old girl that has a lot of fat on her rear end and her thighs, I mean, they keep saying because the waist circumference is small, it's not that big of a deal. But it may not be that big of a deal when you're 20, but when you become 30, they say you gain, 10 pounds?
Yeah.
The average woman
Yeah.
over a decade, every 10 years, your hormones go crazy about the age of 25 to 30 because those are the age that we're going to start
Right.
producing
Right.
babies. So your estrogen goes up. So now you're going to gain weight just naturally without even doing anything. You're going to start to fill out. By the time a woman's perimenopausal into menopause, she's going to put on another
it's
20, another at least 30 pounds. By the time a woman is 50 years old, most women would say, I'm 30 pounds heavier than I was when I was 20. So if they're saying to these girls right now, it's perfectly fine for you to be overweight at the age of 20, they're setting these girls up for health problems down the road.
terrible health problems.
Diabetes, one.
Diabetes.
That's the number one. Everybody now is on what?
Heart issues.
Ozempic now, and all these other they call it the Hollywood diet now. Everybody's taking pills to lose this insulin pill to divert the insulin throughout the body so it doesn't store as fat. But here we go. We talked about diets before and how I did not talk about diets yet. All diets work, by the way, until a certain point, and then they don't work. The same thing with this prescription for weight loss that they're using for the insulin issue, the overweight around the abdominal area. Once the person gets off of that, if they haven't learned to change some behaviors around food, maybe walk, has to be a bodybuilder. You don't have to go to the gym. Find something that you like. What's going to happen? All these people that have been put on this drug that, by the way, they still don't know what the side effects are, other than they do know that it doesn't curb your cravings. Once you go back, when you go off of it.
And then you just gain it all back.
So you're going to
again.
gain it all back. So now what's the solution to that? We temporarily have these people lose weight, get their insulin down, their A1C, if that's the issue. My A1C goes up with my cholesterol when it goes up. So I don't have diabetes or pre-diabetic, but when I went to the doctor last year and they said, oh, your A1C, you're a 5.7, you're almost there for pre-diabetic. And I work out every day, everybody, so you can't out-train your diet either. So my A1C went up because my cholesterol was up and my LDL. It had nothing to do with my insulin. So, again, people are being prescribed that for cholesterol, elevated cholesterol too.
But what else does that do to your body? Do they know?
They don't know. But what I can tell you is as soon as I found that number out about 6 months ago, I said, okay, no more cupcakes, no more the saturated fats I was eating, get your butt back to the gym regularly. Amazingly, I brought my A1C down to like 5.4.
Good for you.
Just diet, not dieting like what bodybuilding dieting is, where you're, I just mean cutting out the sugars, eating a little bit more better foods, and just going to the gym, more than once or twice a week.
Not to say you can't have sugar or fat here and there, but find something that's going to work for you, that's going to help you stay healthy.
And the emotional part of food, this is another thing when I mentioned earlier about the circle of life, If you have imbalances in your life, our primary relationships are our primary food. And this was something when I first started school. They said, "What do you think primary food is?" And I said, "It's what's on your plate." No, it wasn't what was on the plate. It's what's off the plate. So, and we know this as trainers. You know this with me. You've had struggles with me over the years following my meal plans. I've lied to her. I've, tried to out cardio.
She can't lie to me.
I've tried to out cardio my donuts or whatever the heck I was eating. So trust me on this. People in fitness, we think that we can, what is that, change the rules of how that
Change
works.
the rules, yeah.
But it doesn't. And the point is that if Diana and I, she knows me, we have a friendship, she knows when I'm emotionally disconnected or something's going on in my life or whatever, I'm not as committed and I'm not as disciplined and I'm not thinking about myself like I should. And these are core things that, as people ourselves that are trainers, life coaches, whatever, that it's the whole picture that we need to look at when we're working with people to see, well, what's deficit in your life? What
I like to think that, I don't know, sometimes you'll come in and you'll say, oh, well, my diet, I'm really working at that diet, and I look at you and I can tell that you're not working on it the way you're supposed to be, and so I stop and go, what's going on? Mm-hmm. What's going on? And when you have somebody, if you have somebody in your life that you can talk to about what it may be that's causing you to want sugar, mm-hmm. or causing you to want chips, or whatever it may be, that is your issue.
Right, because the cortisol would happen, and you know this with the cortisol, is that when you're stressed or you're not getting enough sleep, whatever other factors that are going on, even if I said to you, and this has happened by the way, I'm doing everything I can, but you know what, emotionally, I haven't been getting enough sleep because I'm worried. I'm stressed during the day, I'm worried about whatever I'm worried about, cortisol is in my system. So again, I've looked at some of my clients over the years and go, I don't get it. Like, what's going on here?
It is a big issue. That cortisol is a huge issue.
And then you start, talking a little bit more. And, like I have one client, she has a lot of health issues. She's constantly stressed about her health. Even though she works out, she eats right 90% of the time, she is always stressed out about when her cancer is going to come back or when she's going to get sick again. So it's trying to get her other areas of her life, get joy from other parts and do other things.
Exactly.
To take your mind off of
exactly what we were talking about earlier is, what is it that you do that makes you really happy? I mean, food, right? But what else is it that you can do to stay away from that sugar or whatever it is? What other things make you feel good? What other things make you happy? Watching TV, watching YouTube.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, it's finding something. Like if you were to look at this and right away when I did mine, I was like, oh my God! Like my work part was great on my wheel. My working out. What else was good on here? I don't know. My social life, my career. And then I looked at some of the other things and my relationships, I stopped home cooking. That's therapeutic. I stopped cooking things. I don't necessarily eat it anymore, but for me, cooking is like a nurturing thing to me. It reminds me of family. It reminds me of, that's how I show love. I've done that when my daughter was small. That's how I was showing love. Unfortunately, the ways that the Italians eat, everything is, the sauce, the noodles, the meat, cheeses, everything in that diet is really fattening. Donuts, pastries. But when I was growing up, that was an active in the Italian culture. It's about have some more food. You're not eating, you need to eat. That's how I was raised. So for me, I've had to distance myself from that feel good of eating that food because I like the way I look better not eating that way. But I still celebrate a couple times during the year. I invite friends over, some of my clients that don't have family here in town, and I make a big Italian meal, and what it does for me is I don't eat it.
Makes you feel good.
It makes me feel good. I'm sharing my customs. I'm sharing what my dad shared with me, his mom shared with him. They love it. They ask me every year now, hey, are you doing your like Christmas thing with the meatballs again? You know, and while you're doing it, you think, oh, this doesn't matter to anybody but me. But those are the type of things that we maybe get busy in life and we forget, or we think it's not important. So for me, it was getting back to the cooking, but now I cook better. Like
I'm glad we talked about this. You know what I just realized?
What?
That my diet has not been as great as it should be for quite some time now. And in talking about this, I just realized I have not even been in my art studio doing any kind of art in 2.5 years, since my mother passed away. 2.5 years.
So if I was working with you as a client, you're my friend, and I would tell you, I would say, well, okay, let's visit that. When can you start going back in your art room again? What's the date going to be that you're going to feasibly say you can, next week, in a month, whatever it is, we're going to set a time for you to get back into your art?
So when I go down there, when I go to my kitchen to eat some cornbread, instead of eating that cornbread, I'm going to go upstairs and get started on a project.
But that's what happens. And it's like with anything. It's like somebody said, you know, maybe you anything that you like to do, you figure it out and you replace it. You identify the behavior. One of the things I want to say is diets, they all work to a certain level. But if you don't change your behaviors around that food, or you don't change when you're eating that food, you're going to slip back into your old habits, because life gets in the way, people get in the way, whatever. So that's where it's really important that you identify and you say, okay, this is why I haven't been in my art room, because my mom passed away. So you know that there's a loss. You know that you kind of put yourself in the back. Art is a way for you to release whatever pressure you have, feelings. You know, your feelings go out on the canvas, whatever you're doing, and you haven't done that. And now, because you haven't done that, I'm just saying this. You're taking it out on yourself. That's why you're eating. That's why you're not taking care of yourself, because you're not doing what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Working. You could say you like your job. I love my careers. I love all the clients I work with. But you know what? You can't. Your whole life can't be just work.
Right.
Escaping. You know, a lot of times people want to escape their feelings of, you know, if they've, you know, lost or whatever. So they drink. They eat poorly, or they don't eat at all. I know
They
people
watch
that don't
too much
eat.
YouTube.
They sit on YouTube all day long, you know, and it's like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with YouTube, but you mentioned earlier too about COVID and how that people started to get unhealthy during COVID, and some of that was because of food shortages and different things. But when people are isolated, it's it has a social thing. It causes depression. People didn't realize that, you know, being home, they're like, yahoo, I don't have to go to the office, I don't have to go to work, I don't have to be with another human being. How great is this?
But what do you do when you're at home?
Right. So what happened? They stopped working out, they started eating junk food. The women stopped putting their makeup on, getting their hair done, all the things that we have to do to prepare to go outside the home.
So now we're getting heavier and heavier, and we're not taking care of ourselves, and we're not feeling good about ourselves.
Right. And it shows everywhere you go. There's a lot more anger. There's a lot more. You hear people talking about trauma now. There's more trauma out there. I don't think there's any more trauma than there was, 50 years ago. I think it's just we're finally seeing
right
what life is kind of taken from us with different things. But what I wanted to ask you was, when you're working with clients and somebody's they're not changing their plan, or they don't seem like they're compliant. You do.
I ask them, what's
that,
going on in your life right now that you're not watching your diet, or you're not working out as often as is necessary to stay healthy. What's going on? Let's talk about that, or address that issue, because even as trainers, sometimes it's not just the training in the gym. It's listening, really listening and paying attention, so that we can help our clients be the best that they can be.
Well, for an example, there was a comment made a while ago to one of my clients, and she wouldn't care if I was saying this. I won't say her name though, but when I work with her, a lot of times she's not a bodybuilder. She's not into working out, and not everybody is, So that's one of the things I had to learn when I got into this, was that not everybody wants to train like a bodybuilder. Not everybody wants to be on the stage. So I had to change my mindset a little bit to say, okay, how am I going to work with mainstream people? And a lot of the women I work with are over 30 to 40 years old, so they're menopausal, they're perimenopausal, they have injuries, the hip problems, knee problems, whatever. So it's constantly working around that. I forgot my point. What I was going to make about her, about Fern, my client.
That we need to talk.
Okay, so we were in the gym. Thank you for that. We were in the gym, and I was talking to her. We were sitting on the bench, and we were talking. She was talking about this, that. And one of the persons in the gym came over and said, "You never work out. Like, I never see you break a sweat." And she said, "You know what? This is my therapy right now." She said, "I don't care if I spend a whole hour talking to this girl. When I leave here, I feel great mentally." And he was like, "Oh, yeah, she is doing it." Like, he didn't know what to say because, again, it goes back to the whole thing. If I'm not following my meal plan and I'm coming in and I'm saying, "Yeah, I am," and you're like on my back as a trainer and not my friend and not somebody trying to investigate or listen, you're going to get on my ass, say I'm this, I'm that, I'm going to feel bad again because I already feel bad because I know I'm not eating right, and I already feel bad because I know I'm not being honest. What's going to happen is people quit. They give up on themselves. They go, screw this, I'm not doing this anymore. Where with that comes the listening, and I've learned to be a better listener, which is really hard for me sometimes because I want to fix it. I'm like, I know how to fix this for you. So I realize I can't fix people.
No, they have to fix themselves.
We're their friend and we're their partner, and we're there to guide them along, I guess.
Yep. Just be there. Help them be their best. Sometimes that means a shorter training session, or, yes, they're there to train, but sometimes they just need a few minutes to.
Right, and we all need somebody. Like, I have you in my life to help me stay as my friend and my trainer, but you're my friend first. But, if everybody could give somebody that they can reach out to that helps them on that journey. And that's what I tell my clients sometimes. I said, unfortunately, your family, and this is what I found to be true in my life, is that the support that I needed never came from my family. It was always my friends, my clients. And so then I finally said, you know what, I'm looking in the what's that thing, you're looking in the wrong places? What is that song? Looking for love in all the wrong places.
Looking for love in all the wrong places.
So I finally realized, what?
Funny.
I'm looking at the wrong place. I need to look outside this family unit that I have and see what I can figure out outside of all this. And once I started to do that, and I think there's a fear in all that too. People are afraid once they start thinking about themselves and make changes, they're going to lose people. And we do. I mean, that's a sad part of it. You do lose people when you make some changes for yourself. Because not everybody's going to be on board.
Right.
They don't like the new and improved.
They don't like the new and improved.
They like the old, whatever they were familiar with.
But do we like the new and improved? Yeah.
Yeah. So
that means take care of your circle.
Take care of your circle, and then your circle will take care of you. And then what we're going to do is when I come back again, I'm going to give everybody some help and some tools, and we're going to talk about different things. Gut health, that's a huge one for me, is what we're eating. It does affect everything in our systems. So I want to talk about that. And then Diana and I will do some training videos.
Training videos, yeah.
And
along with our man in the dark over there.
Yeah, the man in the dark over there.
The man out in the...
He's John.
Never. John.
Styles.
Yeah.
So I think... Are you not going to say anything, John? That's the first time he's never said anything.
Yeah, this is the man that's actually...
Are you quiet?
Putting it all together.
What's he doing?
Oh, he's putting
his hat on. Do you want this? He's going to do it with style. Styles. That's his show, Doing It with Styles.
Doing it with style, yep.
Here
We're going to do some training
sessions. He said he was ready.
He
was going to work out with us.
But we have to introduce him first,
because
this man is amazing. This is an artist.
Mr. John Styles. Yes.
Yeah, this is
my favorite sandwich.
This is our artist.
This is our artist.
Yeah, he's going to put the whole thing together.
Art is easy.
Art is easy.
Right. Creating it is hard.
Creating it is difficult. Yeah.
Okay. So I think
All right.
I think we're done
Thank
for
you, John.
this episode, and then we'll be back with some more information and some more nutrition. We're going to talk about that. We're going to maybe have some meals and some different.
We're bringing food.
Well, I want to teach people.
Can we bring the food that's the bad example and the food that's a good example?
I'll eat the bad example.
I know you.
Yeah, but here's the other
yeah.
part of that. Those bad foods that we want to call bad, the reason that they're so addictive is because the food companies are making them addictive on purpose. So all of this is not always our fault.
It's not our fault.
Okay, so that's another thing. It's just knowing that what you're putting in your body, is this nutritious? Is this Hostess cupcake nutritious? Or is this nice little, I don't know, casserole that I made with chicken and spinach and my quinoa better for me than this cupcake? And everybody knows the difference. So
Yeah.
everybody, I guess we're going to say so long.
But is there some way that people can send in, like
Yeah.
requests for something they want to know or
John,
learn?
can we do that?
Your email.
Okay, so the email, if you have any questions, do you want to give them your email too? Or just my email? I can give you my email.
Just one.
Okay.
Just one. We don't want to confuse the
It's
issue.
Camillio1, CAMILLIO, the number 1 at iCloud.com. And you can send me suggestions for shows that you'd like to see. If you'd like to have some food ideas, if you would like to see some workout videos, whatever you want to know about gut health, anything, just
Yeah.
drop me a line and we'll do a show on
We
it.
will talk about everything.
And I will answer you directly, but I will do a show on it. So it's CAMILLIO, the number 1 at iCloud.com. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Are we gonna say so long? Bye.